heading on to our next talk, I would like to invite Mr. Yashvardhan Dalmia. He is the coordinator for the Satpuda Landscape Tiger Partnership, another group of NGOs or civil society organizations working for grassroots level conservation. So, yes.
Thanks. My name is Yashvardhan Dalmia. I'm the Network Support Officer of the Satpuda Landscape Tiger Partnership. Again, not to mistake, we are known as the Satpuda Landscape Tiger Partnership, but we speak for the biodiversity in general, as we all know. It was founded about 19 years ago. So back then the talk was a little more tiger-centric, hence the name. On behalf of all of the partners, we have a couple of them over here today. I'd like to just speak about who we are, what we do, and what our key successes have been now that it's been over 19 years that we're operating in the landscape. Quickly to start with that, in a nutshell, we are a network of like-minded individuals and NGOs working for conservation of Central India's forest and wildlife. So we started back in 2004 with the support of the Boundary Foundation from the United Kingdom and the Wildlife Conservation Research Unit of the Oxford University. Since then, we've grown from strength to strength, and today we are a network of eight NGOs and a lot of well-wishers and other individuals who are working together. And we firmly believe that to achieve the conservation goals, it's very essential to harmonize the needs of people with the needs of nature so that both of them can thrive. It's very aligned with the theme of the seminar, which is Jugal Bandi again. One of us explained the theme of the seminar. So we are all about that. It's taking into consideration the people as well as the wildlife. So to achieve these conservation goals over the years, SLTP partners have undertaken various initiatives. Broadly, these can be bucketed into 6 main categories. Let us quickly look at what these categories are. These are conservation awareness programs for the local community. We have medical camps and sustainable livelihood training and guidance. Capacity building initiatives and conservation leadership initiatives. We have habitat improvement initiatives, advocacy, and lastly research and some other initiatives like cattle care, interim relief schemes, so on and so forth. So we'll quickly deep dive into each of them to see what we've been doing over the years. Starting with conservation awareness. Now to encourage young students across the landscape living around tiger reserves into nature conservation from a very young age. Partners have been doing various nature education programs, they've been organizing park visits, they've developed nature conservation games and extracurricular activities to inculcate this habit of nature conservation. Let me speak about one of the initiatives which has been recently very successful. This has been the introduction of new technologies and tools used in conservation space for these students. So as a part of this initiative, the students learn more about camera trap devices, GPS devices, so on and so forth. They learn firsthand how to operate these devices. And it's helped us in 2 ways basically. First is obviously the students learn more about the wildlife and biodiversity around them. Secondly, it also helps dispel some misconceptions which are there within the local community about such devices. For example, camera traps, there is a belief in some parts of the community that they used to track the movement of humans rather than wildlife. So it really helps go down to that level and helps them understand what camera traps are actually used for. She loved the initiative and she learned how to operate camera trap devices, GPS devices, so on and so forth. And she wants to tell other students about it soon. So this is what it's all about, right? It's about disseminating the information from students themselves to maybe their family members, the others in the landscape. So that was a bit about initiative for students. If we talk about the larger community, partners over the years have been undertaking various sensitization programs for the herders, women, youth in general, through various rallies, film shows, booklets, brochures, so on and so forth. We'll be very happy to know as a part of these programs, the herder community was also part of the sensitization program. So historically, they've been on the receiving end of a lot of conflict, but somewhere they were neglected, sometimes not included as a part of conversations. So we'll be very happy to know that we've also included them as a part of a lot of our programs as well. Moving on to our next pillar, these are medical camps and alternative livelihood opportunities. So I'm sure all of us over here would believe that to get conservation support from the local community to involve them a bit more. Welfare initiatives are also like a bedrock approach which all of us follow. So keeping that in mind, partners over the years have reached more than 2 lakh community members from across the landscape. They've given them primary healthcare facilities through mobile health units. And we'll be very happy to know that apart from the health benefits, it's helped the community actually create a dialogue with the NGOs so that the NGOs can tell them more about schemes like compensation schemes, so on and so forth. These initiatives really help develop the trust between the community and our partners. And hence, through these initiatives, actually, a lot of members have actually joined hands for conservation actions as well. Speaking about alternative livelihoods to reduce the pressure of forest dependency of the local community. Partners have organized various training programs for sustainable livelihoods over the years. And to see the actual result of these programs, let's meet the forest department team of Chorakun village in Melghat. So the forest department team, when we met them, mentioned that the medical camps have really helped them develop that rapport with the local community, which they were really missing. This is because during these medical camps, we make sure that one of the forest department officials is also present as a part of this camp. So it really comes across as a joint initiative between the NGO partner and the forest department, and it helps perceive the community perceive the forest department also as somebody who supports them rather than an enemy or something like that. So these initiatives really help them, and the medicines provided to the petroleum camps have also really helped because these are, as you know, these are very remote areas, often cut off during the monsoons. So those are some good words. Again, speaking about sustainable livelihood, joining us from the Pench region are two champion women entrepreneurs who we would like to talk about. Ambika Kanha from the Wagoli village has actually, with the help of the support of one of our partners, started a stall selling daily use items and snacks. She is truly a champion on ground because she encourages other women to start their own businesses also. She's full of energy, and if you speak to her, she'll tell you that one of the reasons for sending her kids for the nature education programs was the trust build-up which happened because she attended the medical camps, there was support to set up the stall and so on and so forth. So this is what we were talking about earlier, that in the first place, the medical camps really help getting the conservation action in place. Again, Varsha Thakre is another example from Bhuti village. Varsha ji started a micro enterprise from a place which sells ginger garlic paste, and very happy to say that she's able to produce around 1 to 2 kgs of ginger garlic paste per week. She sells it to a local resort now. So, wishing the best to both of them for their future endeavors as well. Talking about capacity building initiatives, recognizing the need for building capacity of the local community as well as supporting the forest department. Partners over the years have undertaken various initiatives. These could be ranging from equipping anti-poaching camps, provision of gear and technical support to the forest department, training them, so on and so forth. This is a beautiful initiative running on ground by one of our partners. It's known as the Tiger Ambassador Program. As part of this program, the partner team is training volunteers from the local community. They're helping them inculcate, be a part of the local PRT teams, as you would be aware, primary response teams, which are operational in a lot of the tiger reserves in central India. And around 1,400 youth have been trained through this program. And again, to understand how this helps the local forest department in the Godasari Wildlife Sanctuary of Maharashtra, let us meet Mr. Sushant Korkar, who's mentioned that due to the support of the local Tiger Ambassador team, now the movement of villagers, the local community during very early hours and very late hours is reduced, and they receive a lot of support from them for surveys and wildlife rescues and so on and so forth. So he's really grateful to the program as well. Speaking about habitat improvement initiatives, partners over the years have tried to reduce the fragmentation of habitats further by undertaking a lot of initiatives which involve reducing the firewood consumption of the community as well. Be it provision of energy efficient water heaters which are fired by biomass, or be it the revival of about 1,000 plus biogas units within the landscape, or eradication of local species, invasive species as well. they've been very useful on ground. And also, there was a very good initiative of restoration of around 350 hectares of degraded forest land by one of our partners, the Corporate Foundation. This was done in the Satpuda Tiger Reserve, Kanha Tiger Reserve, and the Bandhavgarh landscape as well. Speaking about an important pillar for us, which is advocacy. Partners have been working to increase the protection measures of biodiversity-rich areas. One of the key successes, or two of the key successes, could be the partners being involved in the notification of the Godaveri Wildlife Sanctuary of the Maharashtra region and the Sahyadri Tiger Reserve as well. Partners over the years have also helped in drafting mitigation measures for linear infrastructure, and they've also had urged the government to track movement of poachers and so on and so forth. A very good example of the collective strength of the partnership could be observed last year when the partners got together, wrote a joint letter to the ministry opposing a proposed expansion of a railway line which was supposed to take in the Sanjay Dugri Tiger Reserve. So that's what the partnership is about. Like, it's a collective effort. So it's a good demonstration of what we could achieve on ground. Lastly, our research and other initiatives. So partners over the years have been also studying the movement of wildlife. They've been trying to understand the impact of linear infrastructure on wildlife corridors and recommending mitigation measures as such. They've also been trying to provide electrification through renewable sources. And one of our partners was also instrumental in getting the Shama Prasad Mukherjee Janman Vikas Yojana scheme declared. We also have cattle care programs running on ground, as a part of which domestic cattle are vaccinated against diseases, so that the disease transfer does not happen to wild animals, as we were speaking about a bit earlier also. Partners have also studied the impact of relocation and in the Melghat region. One of our partners, the Satpuda Foundation, came up with a report known as Dust to Dawn, which got published last year. It's a good documentation of how the relocation in Melghat has gone. And I would like to also speak about this initiative which the SLTP partnership undertakes every year. So we also recognize and award an individual from the Central Indian landscape who's working on the ground level, on the grassroots level, because we often the efforts of grassroots level conservationists go unrecognized. So we select an individual each year and award them and recognize them for their wonderful work. Lastly, I would like to speak about a success story not very far from where we are sitting today. It was an initiative by one of our partners, the Corporate Foundation. It's in Bahirakhar village, which we are in right now. Many of us would have seen a board while entering Infinity Resorts. Corporate Foundation is doing a project over there for stall feeding. Basically, as we know, stall feeding is done to encourage cattle owners to stall feed their cattle rather than traditional free grazing that's practiced. So they're practicing it over here, and it's shown some wonderful results in the past 2 years. We've had we save about 100 kgs of grass each day. One quintal of grass is being saved each day as a part of this program. About 70% of cattle owners have mentioned that the time spent in the forest has reduced for them. And also the health of the cattle is improved. Around 90% of beneficiaries mentioned that the health of the cattle is also improved. So this is like a good pilot project happening very close to where we are right now. Just wanted to speak about that as well. And lastly, I would like to share, apart from the on-ground initiatives, the Satpuda Landscape Tiger Partnership is also a knowledge-sharing platform for the NGOs who are part of it. So if you talk about annual seminars, it's an opportunity for our partners to get together, speak to forest officials, other stakeholders from the landscape, and speak about challenges, successes, so on and so forth. We have virtual field team catch-ups as well. So once every quarter, the field teams actually get together on a joint Zoom call or so on and so forth. Because a lot of times the field teams are working in different areas and they never get to speak to each other about the work that they're doing. So we organize these calls. We also talk about our work over social media, and we also publish newsletters every quarter for our internal consumption purposes. We talk about what our teams have been doing, what success stories are for us, and so on and so forth. Lastly, I would like to sign off by giving a shout out to our field champions. We have a few of them sitting in the audience today. Sorry, I couldn't put all of them over here, but they're the backbone of our programs, and just a shout out to them. They're always working in the back end. So just wanted to, without their permission, just use their photos. So sorry for that, but just a shout out to them for doing what they do. So thank you so much. That was in a nutshell about what we've been doing. If you want to catch up more about who we are, what we do, please feel free to speak to me about it during the next few days. Thank you so much. Very happy to take any questions.
Can you go like 5 or 6 slides back for the firewood reduction thingy? Yeah, first one. Yeah. So in here we are saying that this is water heater, right? Right there.
Yes.
So can you, so this water heater was developed by you guys or?
No, it's Wildlife Conservation Trust is one of our partners. If you know about the Heater of Hope project, so it's the water heater developed by their teams, by one water heater, known as BAM in local language. Many of us would know about these initiatives. So it's there by that team, but they're a partner. Thank you. Yes, please.
I just wanted to check with you, like, there's obviously going to be lots of common ground stuff that happens at NCCI and things that SLTP is doing.
Yes.
One of the ideas I wanted to check was we should figure out an actual check-in on-world setup.
Yes.
Where we can cross-pollinate as things happen.
Okay, sure.
Because this happens,
Yes.
The meeting probably happens annually. But especially for like outputs or outreach, I think it'd be really useful.
Sure.
Like Anand was saying, we need so much information, which is very likely your fieldwork champions already have.
Sure. Very good. So we can definitely do like quarterly catch-ups or something like that. Very happy to identify people who can do it for us.
Yeah.
I can spearhead that.
We can even do a thematic working group wise
Sure.
or something. We'll figure it out.
Sure. Very open to that. Thank you so much. Any other question, please? Yes, Jeff.
With the stall feeding, great presentation first and foremost. With the stall feeding, I was wondering if you've seen reductions in conflict, or if that was something you're looking at.
So it's relatively new for that. To be honest, it's been undertaken as a pilot right now. We have 41 odd households, very close to where we are right now, who are undertaking that. So still early days to see reduction in conflict right now. We aren't tracking that currently, but in case the TCF team, in case we are tracking that, we've just started tracking that, or we haven't. So, Kedar, you would like to add?
So we are tracking that, but we are yet to come to any. So probably after 3 years, we might be able to say.
Great, thank you.
Sure. So currently, just for your information, the parameters that we've already tracked is probably increase in health of the cattle. So vet visits the cattle who are stall fed. So 90% of the respondents mentioned that they felt that the cattle are now better, because they aren't going to the forest, so lesser tick infestation and so on and so forth. Reduction in the time spent in the forest, increase in income because we've distributed some high milk yielding varieties of cattle also as a part of this program. So increase in income because of that. So those are some parameters we're tracking currently.
Can I just add something to this discussion?
Sure.
Yes. So, I mean, stall feeding through TCF's initiative.
Yes.
Even MDS did something, not the follow floors, but what we did was, so these kacha, I mean the cattle floors in this region are kacha, like not concretized, right? So instead of making that whole structure, in one village on saturation mode, around 60 households, was we concretized just the floor with that trough for feeding, as well as an outlet for the collection of urine. For cow urine, which ultimately gets used in agriculture. So just to add a bit to that, I mean we haven't conducted any proper study as such, but yes, anecdotes by the community, they do say that yes, they have experienced some sort of this thing in conflict, as well as just another variable, maybe even like track it. Also like reduction in the drudgery of women, because most of these tasks are done by women. So we also observe a reduction in the drudgery of women due to these.
Yes. Thanks for that, Tony. Yes, please. One last question. Yes.
Stall feeding.
Yes.
In the dry season, in this area, how do you manage the dry season? And we have a lot of land fragmentation. The land is moved down.
Yes.
So, under these circumstances, farmers would not like to grow fodder in their land. That land can grow food crops or something else.
Yes.
So another thing is when we are talking about biodiversity, when the cattle is grazing outside, they are eating different types of grasses or different types of plants. So even if the products are in terms of the meat, it is more nutritious. And there are a lot of new studies which are showing that rotational grazing is good for the ecosystem. So instead of stall feeding, what about the other options? How about grazing lands, pasture lands development? And this idea of this concretizing, because a lot of the organic farming needs cattle dung and cattle urine.
Yes. So I think that's a very valid point. So I think for the grazing on community lands, I think we've already have a program by the Corporate Foundation team where they've eradicated lantana on a certain portion of land, and